Yo, what's going down, Green Screen Entertainment fans? Your homie Jay Green back right now with yet another review. And right now, I'm about to break down my thoughts, which is a very big mixed bag on the brand new Black Adam. Now, this movie was directed by Jaume Colette Serra. I think I'm saying his name right. It stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Aldous Hodges, Sarah Shahi, and it stars Bodhi Shabaguni, this guy right here, and Pierce Brosnan. So the first thing that I want to break down is going to be some positives. Number one, going into this film, I was hella nervous that The Rock was just going to resort back to WWE. Lately, in the movies that he's coming out with, he's becoming a caricature of himself. He's indestructible. He's like a live, walking, talking G.I. Joe, and the shit's pissing me off. I've seen this guy act well before. I've seen him take certain characters serious. If we're talking about like Walking Tall, Snitch, even The Rundown had those comical moments, but it also had moments of drama, and he played it the right way throughout, and it was extremely entertaining. The movies that he's come out with lately, where he's just indestructible, it takes me completely out of the film because our hero is never in peril, which is what makes action films or even superhero films fun and entertaining, when we're actually worried about the people that we care about. So, with all that said, knowing based on the trailer that this guy was in prison 5,000 years ago, his son sacrificed himself for him, he somehow got these Shazam type powers, and now he's out of prison, beefing with some people and whatnot, I'm happy to say that he took this character hella serious. He's killing folks, he's smashing them in the face, and he's actually trying to do some good in the town, okay? So big ups to The Rock on taking his character serious and giving us something great on screen. Another positive was the Justice Society. Yo, Dr. Fate, Hawkman, Aldous Hodge, Pierce Brosnan, they got great chemistry. I really believed that they had been working together on different missions and whatnot, okay? And I also thought that Atom Smasher was pretty fly. I don't remember the other chick in the film, her name at all. She has a thing with wind or whatever. She was cool when she was there, but definitely those were the big three out of the Justice Society that we saw, and I thought they were pretty fly. Now, the last positive, the last main positive I'm going to give you before I spoil anything or give you any little inkling of what's really jumping off in this film, because the trailers sure don't, okay? But the last positive I'm going to give you is I did enjoy not so much the villain of the movie, if you will, but how they tied in the villain to what happened to Black Adam back in the day. I did think it was pretty cool, and it makes sense for everything that was jumping off, how they kind of came back around full circle. All right, y'all, so with all those positives out the way, let me start breaking down a few of the things that didn't really work as well for me with this film. Number one, some of the biggest problems with DC have been either character development or story development. With this film, it kind of falls into that same situation where it's a lack of story development and a lack of character development. And what I mean by that is this. While I did enjoy the Justice Society, I thought that Pierce Brosnan and Aldous Hodges was the best thing about the Justice Society. They seemed like they had a relationship where they had worked on missions before, they kind of knew what was going on, and they had some legitimate powers that really lended opportunity to the fight for it to be entertaining, for it to be dramatic, and moments of levity as well as moments of drama that engaged you in the whole situation. However, the Justice Society as a whole was not developed, and they were introduced by a certain so-and-so. I don't want to spoil too much, but they're introduced by a certain person that we've seen before, but based on where DC is at right now, and them saying we're not going forward with the DCEU, the Snyderverse, if you will, but however, these characters were already in the Snyderverse. Sometimes for me sitting there in the theater, I'm kind of like, well, wait, what is it? We're either in this universe or we're not. What's the deal? And I think that based on the fact that this movie was made prior to the new ownership at Warner Brothers, you can tell a lot of the things that were there prior to that new ownership, and you can tell a lot of the things that they put in after new ownership. So it was a little off-putting at times, the fact that we didn't have a true development of this Justice Society, knowing that we already have the Justice League. So that was kind of like something that didn't fully work for me. Another thing that didn't fully really work for me and kind of like made me just wish that they had developed the story and the characters more was the way that Black Adam got out of his imprisonment, and then who got him out of his imprisonment, and how he worked with them throughout the film for a few different reasons, right? Again, I'm trying to be vague. I don't want to spoil anything, but the way that he got out, fine. But what they were getting him out for, what they needed him for, what was motivating them, I feel like you could have developed that maybe a lot more. There was things in the film that I felt like, we don't need this, we don't need that. Instead of this, replace it with story and development, so then that way we're more on board with these people that were looking for him. Why do they need him? And then the dialogue that they needed to have with him to get him out of this mindset of like, F everybody, I'm going to destroy everything until I get what I want, or I'm going to destroy everybody because I can't have what I want. I would have liked more development with those conversations and the situations that the people that needed him were in at that moment in time. That could have been great, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people could have connected and really identified with what was going on in this town, in this community, and why they needed this guy to be a hero for them. And I feel like you just left all that on the table and just gave us, some corny one-liners. You gave these people some opportunity to look cool and, fight some things and whatever. And it's like, I just really didn't need that. And it kind of took me out of the film when those moments were jumping off. Now, to piggyback off of that last thought that I just gave y'all, the other thing about why those scenes took me out was because in Shazam, we got Billy Batson's best friend, Shazam's best friend, giving him, one-liners, things to say. And we also got his best friend and him trying to come up with names to call him. In this movie, when I'm speaking about things that we just didn't need, we have a kid like that saying the same exact ish. So the problem with me, as you've heard me mention in the past couple of reviews, it's not a problem that you lift ish from other films, but on top of lifting ish out of a film in your own freaking franchise, you also don't make it creative in any other different way. What the fuck, man? Another thing that didn't really work for me was towards the end of the film, when we truly find out why Black Adam was in prison, it made me scratch my head like, for that? For 5,000 years? For that? This is ridiculous. Now, let me try to break this down without any spoilers. Number one, referencing once again Shazam. In Shazam, the wizard told Billy, hey, we had this one guy. He was a defector. He was doing shit with his powers he shouldn't have been doing. He was unruly. We had to lock his ass down. Okay, cool. When we find out that Black Adam was that dude, The Rock playing that dude, we like, all right, we about to get another villain that will probably become an anti-hero, whatever. But when we find out why he was in prison for all that time in this film, I'm scratching my head like, this really makes no sense that, let's just say at that time when he has these powers, based on what he did, and it wasn't necessarily on purpose, he could have gone and talked to the Council of Wizards or whatever like this, made a case, or we could even have seen development as he tells this story to the people that got him out of prison, if you will. Hey, this is what happened to me. This is why I did what I did. And it was because of this. And here's how they thought. Here's how I thought. We didn't agree. I did what I did anyways. And that's why they imprisoned me. There could have been so much development and dialogue within that reason. But looking back at Shazam, knowing what the wizard said, and then seeing in this film why he was in prison, to me, these are two things that are not congruent. They don't make sense, and it was unreasonable. So now I'm questioning the Council of Wizards. Anyway, on with the review. All right, y'all. So right now I am going to break down a small little spoiler, something that you should probably already know, given how much has been in the news as of late. But I'm still going to put up that spoiler warning in 3, 2, and 1. Boom. There you go. All right. Now, Superman is in the post-credit scene of this film. Late breaking news, right? Now, what happens in that scene is that there's a drone looking for Black Adam. We've seen that shit in Man of Steel. He smashes it. We've seen that shit in Man of Steel. And then all of a sudden, there's a government official. We've seen that shit in Man of Steel. Tell Black Adam, look, we just want to know where you're staying at. We want to make sure you're level-headed and you ain't messing things up. We've seen that shit in Man of Steel. So as soon as all that shit jumps off, Black Adam basically responds with, look, I ain't tripping on any little threats you want to give me, because guess what? Nobody on this planet can defeat me. And right then and there, that's when the government official says, oh, is that right? Well, we got someone that can swoop down from out of this world, right? And all of a sudden, that's when Henry Cavill steps out of the shadows and everybody fucking goes nuts. Now, here's the thing that I wonder to myself. Where the fuck is Shazam at? Let's not forget that Black Adam got his powers from the same wizard that gave Shazam his powers. So given the fact that they come from the same exact place, don't you think the fact that Shazam is in contact with all of this stuff going on in the same realm, that when Black Adam was freed, he should have been the first one there to lay hands on him?
Quit playing! Quit playing! Quit playing! Quit playing! Don't let me get you, boy! Stop, man! Quit playing!
So the fact that the Justice Society is there, I'm not tripping. But like I said earlier in my review, what is it? You either want us in this universe or you don't. The government official, we've seen this person before. When Black Adam is fighting Hawkman back at this one house, in this kid's room, he's got all these posters of Wonder Woman, Batman, Shazam, The Flash, like all of this. What is it? You know what I'm saying? You either are or you ain't. So number one, I think that The Rock should have just kept his damn mouth shut, because I know for me personally, I would have been way more excited if I had seen the actual reveal of Henry Cavill's Superman in the film, especially given the fact as how they were so adamant at Warner Brothers that, nah, this fool ain't gonna get no other Superman movie. And I loved Man of Steel, personally. Also, number two, it also makes me feel like this movie was just kind of an in-between film before we give Henry Cavill's Superman an opportunity to beef with The Rock as Black Adam. It's just an in-between film, and I feel that way because of the fact is the underdevelopment of the characters and or the story. All right, y'all. So in closing, here are my final thoughts. Number one, I did have a good time with this film. I thought the action was legit. Pierce Brosnan, Aldous Hodge did great. Justice Society, cool to see. Certain government officials showing up from other films. Post-credit scenes in the end, tying things together. Okay, let's go. Let's see what you got, right? I thought The Rock played it very, very well based on things that he's done as of late. I liked what he did in this film. He was intimidating. He was a freaking life-size superhero for reals. Fly as hell. I thought the color palette looked great. Sound was great. They had some slow-mo action scenes. Great. I think that a lot of people are going to have a good time with this film. Now, if you're someone who has been on the fence about a lot of DC films, you're probably going to think this one is a middle of the road or wait till it gets to streaming type of movie. I cannot sit here and say that this movie was good. I can say that it was entertaining and fun, and that is about it. I'll still purchase it on Blu-ray or 4K facts. So with all that said, do me a huge favor, like, subscribe, comment below, let me know what you thought. Your homie Jay Green, I'm out.